Biggest deer.
Hey guys, welcome back. We know it's been quite a while since we rolled out some videos for you guys, but we're going to start a series of kind of our scouting methods and how we're going to set up and approach our 2020 deer hunting season. Some paths we're cutting, and just creating better access to this property. Now, we've hunted it for the last 2 years, and it's turned out to be an extremely hard property to hunt. And we know a lot of people run into this same situation, so we're going to walk you through our approach, because we know access is probably the most important thing when it comes to deer hunting, big, thick bedding areas. And essentially, that's what we have. We have 116 acres of bedding. Granted, there are 2 or 3 little food plots, but nothing very, substantial. So, and a lot of swamp, a lot of wetness. So we are creating paths that are staying on high ground, yet they're cutting. We're going through a couple past bedding areas, but we feel that if we transition our access, we're going to push deer more to the middle of our property in the main hub of bedding. We have a ton of does on this property. We haven't harvested a buck in the past 2 years, but we haven't had like a really good mature buck to chase after. Although other than Merlot, last year is a 3.5-year-old. A really nice deer this year. I had an opportunity at him at 40 yards and just wasn't presented a shot. Not a high scoring buck, but a great 8-pointer. Then we had another big 10 show up with a big hole in his horn. He's a super cool deer, but I think this year he was probably a 130 to 140 class buck as a 10-point, but I believe he was only 3.5 years old as well. So next year is going to be a pretty special year. This year we had 5 bucks that we were kind of going after at the start of the season. Typically disappear come to November, and we have a lot of bucks that are just cruising through and aren't regulars, but they come back late season. So I know these videos are going to be rolling out around June, and as you can tell, this is obviously not June. So, but we feel this is the best time to start these, kind of walk you through to prep you guys for your 2021 season. And we're going to show you how we scout, how we look for sign in this type of weather, and then just our progress through cutting trails. And we're going to show you kind of some maps on how we're doing that and how our access is and where we think deer are, where they're bedding. And yeah, we're just going to show you our method of hunting and how we're getting in there. So I hope you guys enjoy. They're going to be short, quick little videos, but we're going to roll them out probably every other week. So enjoy. Our new series now covering our property that we call the Swamp in Southwest Michigan. So this first episode, we're just going to kind of give you a flyover of our property. So here in white is the outline of our property boundaries. It's roughly 116 acres, I think just a touch over. We got north, south, east, and west as a normal map sets up. As you can just tell by looking at it, it's super thick and is a large bedding area. So our main access is going to be up here at our barn. As you can see, the kind of little dot here. We got food plots. We got a food plot here. We have another little one right in here that we tried to establish last year, and another one up in here, all under a ½ acre. We don't have any food plots more than a ½ acre, and the biggest one being this end right in here. So as you can see, some ag fields on the west side of our property. Very few here on the east side of our property, but majority are on the southwest. So extremely hard to hunt in the evenings. A really good morning type property, just because the deer we know are out in these ag fields and then feeding back in to bed in the mornings, and same over in this area. So this is a brief flyover. Not going to get into too much. We're going to talk about bedding in future episodes, access in future episodes, and just some property improvements that we feel are going to really help us dig into hunting this ground. So another thing really quick is the terrain, kind of how it sets up. So as you can see, it's pretty low, but down on the both south corners of our property, west and east, we have ridges. So this ridge is a huge ridge, oak. It's all oak trees. It runs all the way out into here. These are like shrub oaks. Back up in here are some pretty mature oaks. So we do get acorns. Same over here. This is just a lot smaller, but a very steep pitch right up into here. So we get a lot of turkeys actually that bed up in here, but they're flying out into these fields. Then this creek right here runs all the way from our south end, and then it cuts over, and you can't see but with the line, but the creek runs all the way up here, connects to this one. I don't know why that's not showing, but it connects here, runs all the way up here, connects with this creek, runs up, and then runs all the way along the road. So that is kind of a brief look at how everything sets up, some ridges. You can see some terrain features, different things like that. A lot of ag. These are actually vineyards down in here. This is a vineyard. This was not planted this year, just due to wet soil conditions. You can see even on this picture, you can tell this whole side is wet still. This was cornfield. This was corn all over here. Corn. This was not planted because it was too wet to get into. This you'll see maybe in some future episodes. This is where we had a lot of buck traffic. I think one day I saw 14 different bucks out in this field. But we'll dig into that stuff in future episodes. So that is kind of a brief flyover. In the next episode, we are going to cover bedding areas on our property.